The college football experience, Southern Miss Golden Eagles 2025 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your shirt today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Get your $25 free bet for the Belmont Stakes by going to nyrabets.com/SGPN25. And don't forget the promo code SGPN25. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes! 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 Woo! Welcome! Welcome to the college football experience. Southern Miss Golden Eagles 2025 season preview episode and youtube.com/the college experience. Place to check it out. You can watch the show. Highly recommend watching it. But if you're listening to it, that's fine too. As we talk about a team, when I first started to get into college football in the late 80s, this team was a fucking wagon. This was the original Boise State, as they say down there in Hattiesburg. And they need to get back on track, and it might be the year where they get back on track. Excited to talk about it. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Oh, boy. I mean, what do they got? Ray Guy, Louis Lips, Brett Favre, to quote, There's Something About Mary. Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace. They have a lot of greats that have come out of here. Michael Boley was a really good linebacker for them Golden Eagles. Welcome to the Rock. And as some say, the real Rock. Try to do my Sean Connery voice. It's not really working out so well. I am joined by my co-host. He's the host of the college basketball experience as well. We are live every single day of the college basketball season, of course. Give it up for former staffer with the Governors, Austin P. with the Gamecocks of South Kakalaki, and with the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Give it up for Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. How are you, brother?
Doing good, ready to talk a little Fun Belt. I'm fired up for this team. I know you are. Let the Huff era begin.
Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
That's right. And look, I mean, we could just go right into it because he's going to huff, he's going to puff, and he's going to blow down the fucking house of the Sun Belt because he just won the Sun Belt championship at Marshall. And I can't think of many times. I'm sure that I probably should have done the homework for this episode, but I'm trying to remember a time where a sitting head coach won the won the conference championship in that conference and then bounced to another conference team that year. Now I know like Saban went to the NFL, came back. You could talk about a few, but it's kind of rare. I feel like, especially in the mid-major levels. I bet you it's probably happened before in the in the SEC and Big Ten, and someone will remind me, or the Big 12 or something. But someone will probably remind me of that on the interwebs. But in the group of 5, I know like Norvell left Nevada for Colorado State, but they didn't win the championship that year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of rare that it would happen. What do you make of, the team in last place? And that's another element to this. The team in last place took the team in first place head coach that won the championship. Fascinating times in college football.
Well, and didn't have to pay the buyout because they just let him walk. But that's what fucking Marshall does. They let Doc Holliday walk after a 7-3 year where they won the East that year. So they're good at letting coaches that win championships walk out the door. But yeah, if you're Southern Miss, you're fired up. Charles Huff, we did our Sun Belt coaches rankings. Go check out that episode. He was great. 32-20, 20-12, and obviously highlighted by
won
the
at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he
won at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, to me, where I feel like Southern Miss, that used to be Southern Miss, by the way. Like, I know I'm older than you, man, but growing up in the, got into football in like the late 80s, and then, or college football in the late 80s, and Southern Miss from like the late 80s to like 2007 was a fucking wagon, dude. You didn't want them on the schedule. First off, they would schedule ridiculous, like crazy aggressively. But I recall times they went into Bama and won 21-0 once. You know what I mean? Like, this was a team that fucked up Auburn, Bama, LSU, Nebraska. I remember them going to Nebraska and catching them. And I'm forgetting some. I think they got the Hokies too back in the day. This was like the original Boise State, like really hard-nosed defenses, good rushing attack, and just a team that would be a pain in the ass to play. Ever since they forced Jeff Bauer out, and that's some karma, because the dude went, like, I feel like off the top of my head, it was like a coach 17 years, and he went bowling like 15 or 16 of those 17 years, and they forced him out. And then they went with, I think, Larry Fedora for a little bit, and that but the point is they lost their identity. Yeah. They lost their identity. They were like that. They went to like, oh, we're going to go air raid and all this shit, like, or spread, whatever Fedora shit was. But they should have, in my, me, I'm a sucker for the old school, like ground the fucking ball, right? Great special teams, great defense, and make physical play. So like, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to get back to that for a while now. The Will Hall experience was a disaster. And I just think to steal the sitting head coach of a championship team, who's kind of, go back and watch that Notre Dame Marshall game 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, whatever it was. And they were out physical. Like they out physicaled, Notre Dame there. And I feel like that's what they need, let alone the fact that Charles Huff, former fullback himself with Hampton, but familiar with the area too. He was, for that area, Hattiesburg, Southern Mississippi, obviously. He was at Alabama with Saban, so probably plugged into the high school some. To a fact, he can go around and say that. Yeah, I was with Saban, won a MAC championship, won at Notre Dame. I'm not MAC championship, won a Sun Belt championship, won at Notre Dame. Unbelievable hire just from the start. I know we got slides to talk about, but I just never heard of a scenario where that's happened before.
Well, and he was with Mullins at Mississippi State before that. So like you said, he's been in the South before. It's not often that they go from conference foe to conference foe. That's usually unusual. You see it in the SEC or maybe even the Big 12 here and there, but never from the champion to the last place team. So yeah, definitely a rare circumstance. And you know what the best part about the portal is he can bring all his guys from his old school. So we'll talk about that. I know we got slides and everything, but where would you rank this among teams like intriguing going into next year?
Oh, I am this like we did our first. So this is team 3 out of 136, and we did a randomizer to if people are wondering how we came of these teams. We do an episode for every single team in this, in college football. We've been doing it for years, but this year we're doing a randomizer, and so Southern Miss came up, and you're sitting there saying, to me, I think I'm glad that we get this thing out the way early, because I do think like they're one of the more interesting teams, and this is a job that I do think great fans, by the way, over the years. I mean, they've been shit lately, so obviously there hasn't been what it was, but I still think they're a good fan base there in the Sun Belt. And yeah, I mean, I think to me coming into the season, if you had to list like top 25 teams that I find interesting, they would probably be on that list for me. It's a shame they don't play Marshall though, that we got to talk about that.
Oh, terrible. How did they botch that? It's like in basketball. How did Arkansas, Kentucky only play once? How do you not have Marshall and Southern Miss? That game should be in Huntington.
Yeah, 100%. Now the problem is, I think, is they still do division, so you have to play your division foes.
Yeah.
So you only get a couple cross division games. Folks, before we dive into it, though, I want to let you know that the college football experience, Southern Miss 2025 season preview, is brought to you by us. Yes, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and the Stanley Cup Final is here, and the Hockey Gambling Podcast is giving away an NHL jersey and $200 and $200 in an SGPN gift card form. Enter for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Stanley Cup and let it ride. All right, we are back talking Southern Miss, and let's dive into it. As we just talked about, Charles Huff is their head coach, their new head coach. He was 9 so he's 32-20 overall. You know, you've been bowl eligible every single year as a head coach. Now, one of those years, obviously 6-7, as you see there on the slide in 2023, 9-4 in 2022, and then in 2024 was 10-3 Sun Belt champs. Once again, I just think, how the fuck did they pull off this heist? They pulled off a heist. It was right before us, Mac. They pulled off a heist. They were able to get Charles Huff. Great job. He is inheriting, though, an offense. Now, this is something why I'm just super bullish. And going back, this is the third team in on what we're previewing. We did last night's shows, and I felt decent about SMU and decent about Florida International. But this one, I really feel good about. So I'm just going to start from there. Blake Anderson is their OC. I know Blake Anderson. I've interviewed Blake Anderson multiple times, I think. He was the Utah State head coach when they won the Mountain West in 2021, I believe. He was also very good at Arkansas State, so he's very familiar with the Sun Belt and that division in the Sun Belt because Arkansas State resides in there. I mean, what a fucking good hire, by the way.
Yeah.
Like
Sitting
this
coach, or a
and,
former
and, yeah, former head coach that won the Mountain West just a couple years ago. And I mean, they're going to need it because they're inheriting the 132nd. So there was 134 college football teams a year ago. They were the third worst offense in America. They were the 14th worst passing offense. So third worst scoring offense, 14th worst passing offense. 15th worst rushing offense. Altogether, they were the third worst offense in the nation. But I don't think any of that matters for this year. It's just part of the show's rhythm that we have to talk about it. But to me, as we're going to talk about in a minute with the transfer portal, Blake Anderson coming in is a very good offensive mind, in my opinion. So I am very excited to see Blake Anderson with Charles Huff, and I think it's going to be a good thing. And I think these numbers will be at least cut in half, maybe even more, moving forward. Do those numbers surprise you? Not really, right?
No, they're horrible last year. And Colby, to take it a step further, Blake Anderson was the offensive coordinator from 2008 to 2011 at Southern Miss. They won Conference USA his final year with Larry Fedora, 12-2 year, and they won the Hawaii Bowl that year. So not only does he have the track record at Utah State and at Arkansas State, but he's also been an offensive coordinator already at Southern Miss for a conference champion, 14 years ago? But hey, familiarity.
Yeah, 100%. This episode's probably not going to be like a lot of other episodes out of the 136. And the reason why I want to hit on this, so there's Blake, by the way, and I think he's a very good coach, and especially an offensive mind. I think he will do very well scoring the ball at Southern Miss. A lot of his players, even at Utah State, went on to transfer to other Power Fives and stuff, and played well. So they got a good offensive coordinator there. I'm excited to see what he can do. Now, they only have 3 returning starters. Now, I will say this: if you told me, Dundee, they're a terrible team a year ago, you're going to get 3 returning starters, what would you want? I actually think if they were a terrible team, you probably don't want the quarterback. So you probably would say, I don't know, give me the O-line. But, I mean, I guess your O-line could be terrible. But they bring back 3 on the O-line. I kind of like that. If you told me a position, gun to my head, I think I would say O-line. You?
Yeah, I guess if it gun to my head, but I don't even know if these guys will play as much with all these guys that they're bringing in, because it's Marshall South is headed down to Hattiesburg here that year.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and I'm glad you said that, because that's what I'm saying. This episode will be probably a lot different than every other episode that we do from a team preview point of view, because when Charles Huff left, they won a championship, which obviously it's, as a player, it's great to win championships, and you probably will follow that. Well, the best comparison I could say, because even when Coach Prime went from Jackson State to Colorado, he didn't bring that many Jackson State guys. It was like 4 or 5, if memory serves me correct. This is like Ben McCollum in college basketball, with going up from the D2 ranks to Drake. Now he's at Iowa, and winning Drake's first ever tournament, or the first tournament game since the 70s. He's bringing everybody with him. It's like that scene in The Professional, right? Who's in the? You wanted me to bring everyone? Everyone, right? Because this is just the offense right here. Quarterback Braylon Braxton. He's very good. He was at Marshall last year, won the championship. I think he won even top newcomer of the year in the Sun Belt. He was at Tulsa the year before and was very good. 3rd stop, but I mean, he's following Huff. Bring in running back Moses Gray with him. Wide receiver Elijah Metcalf is coming with Charles Huff, and let me tell you, he is a very good player. I remember him with Rick Stockstill in Middle Tennessee a couple of years back. Had a 99-yard touchdown against Miami when Middle Tennessee upset Miami at Miami. I love the Metcalf. He was with Marshall last year, so he following coach over. Chuck Montgomery, who was a starter in some games a year ago, coming over. Carl Chester, starter, coming over. Braylon Brown and Tyshawn Chapman also coming over. So, they're bringing pretty much the entire wide receiver room that didn't graduate over.
Yeah.
And shout out to players Circa in the chat saying Prime brought about 10 plus from Jackson. There you go. I knew it was. It's not like this though. Wait till you see this, because I knew it was something. I know it was like Savion Wilkerson, Hunter, Shador. I thought there was another wideout, maybe another corner, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of a big number, I would say. Because on the defense, these are just Marshall transfers. We're going to go through the other transfers. So what's that right there? That's 7 right there on offense.
I think it's 50 in total for the whole class. Everybody. Hey, you know what? You know who else did the same shit last year? Signetti at Indiana, our next episode.
Yes, and that'll be coming up around 10:30, 10:45, something like that. On the defensive side of the ball, from Marshall, defensive lineman Chris Stokes, Isaiah Gibson, J.J. Hawkins, Jabari Ishmael, linebacker Mathis Haygood, safety Malik Coswell, safety Corey Myrick, Amir Foster at the safety spot, Ian Foster as well. Don't worry, cornerback Josh Moten, who was, by the way, one of the best corners in the nation a year ago, all Sun Belt first team, and I'm sure a lot of schools wanted him. Cornerback Ishmael Ibrahim, cornerback Galaya Theodule, Cornerback Anthony Richard, kicker Caden Morgan, who was all Sun Belt, and punter Alec Clark. Holy shit, man. Like you said, this is not even including the class that was coming in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Braylon Braxton's a dog, and he can run. He ran for, I think, like 602 or 502, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions over the course of his career there. What a huge upgrade at the quarterback spot. You're going to put him with Blake Anderson, who I think is a very sharp offensive mind. And he loves a mobile quarterback. Go back and look at Utah State, Cooper Lagasse, and some of the other guys that they had. The shoe fits to me. I am all in on him having a very good season, despite meshing with the new offensive coordinator. They went out in the portal. They brought in running back Jeffrey Pittman from Mississippi State, who they play week 1. Gotta love that ammo. They also added, like I alluded to a minute ago, Carl Chester from Marshall, who was a wide receiver that had 42 receptions, 4 touchdowns. Also Elijah Metcalf, who I was talking about, 104 career receptions, 11 touchdowns, and he's a flea, man. He's got some speed. Love what they did there. How about Micah Davis coming over from Ole Miss? 10 touchdowns.
Schools.
Yeah, and dude, this guy's NFL pedigree. To the really old school people like myself that might remember his pops, Dexter Davis, who played for the Arizona Cardinals, I think maybe the New England Patriots as well, out of Clemson. So NFL pedigree coming in here in the portal, but going out. And this is the rest of the transfers the offense brings in, by the way. Look at the O-line. Like you alluded to, are those guys from a season ago going to start? I don't know, but it's still nice to have 3 guys that started the whole season. But then you go out and you get Christian Anderson from Bama A&M. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the next guy here, but I can tell you this. He started at Utah State a year ago. Ale Maui. I don't know. It might be Maui. From Utah State. A slew of Eastern Michigan transfers. Aaron Parks coming in from South Carolina. Carlos Slayton from Troy. Chase Malamala from UCF. RJ Whitehead from UTEP. Hayes Creel from McNeese. Cooper Frazier from Samford. Those are all on the offensive line. Okay. I know you need time to gel, but okay. What else on the offensive side of the ball? The quarterback room. I mean, we already touched on the Marshall transfer coming over. He also brought in Landry Liddy, Jacoby Robinson. Liddy was at UAB with Trent Dilfer. Jacoby Robinson from BC. The running back I just alluded to, Jeffrey Pittman, in the slide coming over from Mississippi State. Robert Briggs with Utah State. He played well for Blake Anderson too. That's another thing, is multiple Utah State guys. You saw that on the O-line front with Maui. Those guys are all familiar with Anderson and what he did there. They won a Mountain West championship. So Ole Miss transfers, Matt Jones, Micah Davis, another Utah State transfer, and wide receiver Grant Page, Caden Morris from Western Michigan at the tight end spot, and then TJ Johnson from West Virginia, buddy. This is a shit ton of transfers. I mean, it is the best thing to compare it to is probably Cignetti at Indiana. How do you think, before I dive into the defense, how do you think the offense will be this year? I kind of think this will be one of the better offenses in the Sun Belt.
Well, I mean, they have one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the Sun Belt, Braxton coming back. I mean, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And I mean, he rushed for over 600 yards last year as well, but dual threat guy. You could tell also, not only are they bringing the Marshall guys, there's some Utah State guys sprinkled in there too, for the continuity with the familiarity with Blake Anderson. So, I mean, he's bringing over familiar targets and guys like Chester as well and Metcalf. So, I mean, the offense is going to be just fine. I don't have any concerns that they're going to be able to move the ball, and Blake Anderson will get that thing humming.
Yeah. So now comes the defensive side of the ball, which I want to talk about, because Jason Seymour was Marshall's DC for the past couple of years. He did a really good job. He's got his work cut out for him, but it helps to bring a lot of your roster. But before we get to rambling about the defense, I want to let the good folks know that the College Football Experience Southern Miss preview is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. They There's no usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards, 100% approval rating for all betting deposits. They don't even do a credit check. All right. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. And if you sign up this week, you'll get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. I got mine in the other room. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt today. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game one, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonuses get. And look, I love it for college football and college hoops. We play it all the time. They got every sport you can think of too. So sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And last but not least, we're brought to you by Naira Bets. The Belmont Stakes are going on. You want to bet the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga? Because I love betting it. I feel like you should. With Naira Bets, it's even better. All right, sign up today using the promo code SGPN25, and you get a $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus. So whether you're a seasoned bettor or just getting started, Naira Bets making it very easy to jump in on the action. But I got to mention, this is an exclusive offer just for the Belmont Stakes, so you don't want to wait. Join now, claim free $25 Belmont bet today at Naira Bets. That's NYRABets.com/SGPN25. All right, we are back on the college football experience. Southern Miss style. Love Southern Miss, man. Well, the defense was horrible. Jason Seymour, he's like, damn, I got my work cut out for me. Scoring defense, 129th. Pass defense, 64th, but that's because they were the second worst rush defense. So why even pass the ball? I almost think the pass defense is probably worse. It was just like, no, let's just run the ball against this shit defense. Overall, they were 122nd in the land. But once again, Jason Seymour responsible for none of that as he was winning a championship at Marshall. He comes over, excited to see what he can do. And we talked about all those Marshall transfers coming over. So I kept them separate. They went out, though. So obviously they're bringing in all-conference safety, all-conference corner, a couple DNs, great linebacker. On the defensive side of the ball, loading up. How about a couple UTEP transfers in Quinzavius Warren and Jaden McKinney? Mason Clinton from Mississippi State. Zachariah Keith from Dub V. Elijah Kinsler from Dub V. They're raiding Dub V, buddy. Jamon Tapp from Arizona State. How about, and this is a sneaky good get, Michael Montgomery. We'll talk about him in a second. Safety Josh Battle from Chattanooga. Cornerback Dominic Hill from the Flaming Libs of Liberty. Cornerback Jonathan Penix from Virginia Tech. Michael Montgomery was FCS All-American at Portland State. I know it's a tier down, but a lot of times, if you could play in the Big Sky, it's pretty much, it's not that far off from the Sun Belt. Big Sky is a very good conference in the FCS. I host the FCS College Football Experience. Subscribe. That's a nice get there. And then obviously bringing Josh Moten, who's one of the better corners, just absolutely fucking huge to bring guys like that in. Mac, the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot better. Like I know we got to circle the pass rush, bringing in all those guys. That's the big X factor. Because to me, I look at the defensive backs that came in from Marshall, all very good. So like, or at least the starters are all, top-notch conference guys. So if the D line goes, I do think they'll be in decent shape.
Yeah, and they went FCS on a couple of these guys as well. Battle coming over from Chattanooga as well. So I'm like you said, Moden's a stud. He was all Sun Belt for a reason, so that's a nice piece. Can they hold up in the trenches? They did go with some high major guys up front there. But I mean, if you're a Southern Miss fan, you got a front row seat on what to expect here when Seymour's defense held Southern Miss last year to 3 points when they played there in Hattiesburg. So they played well. They held Louisiana to 3 points in the Sun Belt title game. So it'll be a work in progress. I think the offense will click quicker than the defense.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I can't wait to break down the schedule for it. Go game by game because I think the schedule kind of aligns nice as well.
Yeah.
This isn't just we like to talk about the state of the program, the stadium, everything that makes college football great. The stadium is Roberts Stadium, better known as the Rock to many. It is 93 years young, Mac.
Yep.
I mean, to me, this is 8. I gave it 8 out of 10 on the Dundee Stadium ranking. They do college football right. Obviously, I love the fact it's the same field that all these greats have played on. Lewis Lips and Brett Favre and Ray Guy and all these fucking great players played on this very field. And look at this. I mean, come on. I'm curious what you make. We got to get down to a game at the Rock, man.
Dude,
right? Look at that. That's a fire stadium, man. I really think this is a legit great college football stadium. Love the welcome to the Rock shit they got going over there as well.
What's the capacity here?
That's a good question. Pull that up off the top. I would assume. See, and look, the fans are still showing out. This is like a photo from last year. Like, obviously, they were fucking horrible last year. They have good fans down there in Hattiesburg, man. And
36.
Yeah.
That's a good size.
It is a good size. So state of the program with a great stadium, a classic stadium like that. Hiring, look, I wanted to do 10 out of 10. I'm not going to bullshit you. But then I thought about this. What happens
if he's good?
if he's let's say Southern Miss wins the Sun Belt this year, which I don't think is that far of a stretch. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Well, how long will Huff be there? Especially, like the Hugh Freeze is on thin ice at Auburn. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Mississippi State? Kiffin could leave any day now at Ole Miss, they say. I mean, the guy played at Hampton, so like UVA and Virginia Tech could have openings. I know we've had Bud Foster, legendary Virginia Tech defensive coordinator, is retired now. I know he's good friends with Charles Huff because we had him on the show talking about that. That's why I couldn't go 10 of 10. I think it's a great hire, but what happens if he's one and done or two and done? You still take it if you're Southern Miss. You've been in the weeds so much, but what would you give the state of the program right now?
I'll give it a 9. I always say that's a good problem to have. That means you won the league, and that means you get to raise a banner and you have a championship. So if they run the table here, they get in here, they figure it out, they win the league just like they did at Marshall. Maybe he gets a Power 4 gig, and maybe Blake Anderson's the next head coach at Southern Miss, and they promote within if that offense hums the way that we think it will in year one.
Wouldn't be a bad option. The guy who was a proven winner in his coaching tenure. Look, we're going to go game by game on the schedule, folks. But before I do that, I do want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by Circa and their ultimate fantasy football giveaway. Yes, the Circa in downtown Las Vegas, the Circa Resort. If you haven't been, you got to go. Biggest sports book in the world. Stadium swims incredible. Google image that. Thank me later. Look, they're giving away an ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Las Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their entire stay. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. And you can always get 15% off at the Circa properties with the promo code SGP15. So why would you not be using that if you're just going there in general? And enter the ultimate fantasy football contest for free. We're giving this thing away for free. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Circa. That's CIRCA. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Circa. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before. They dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. That is really cool. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's models have consistently won and has a very high ROI. The best way to break it down is think about like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets, baby. So what are you doing? Get on over there. And also, get your free 7-day trial period. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And last but not least, we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NBA and NHL finals. And for the true degens, the MyBookie money bag is a blast. And look, MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations, even outside of the states. You can easily deposit and get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So jump on over there. Head on over there. MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Once again, terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back talking Southern Miss football. And, man, I'm very excited to do this show because I feel very good about this one, Mac. And I think this is the benefit of doing it on June 3rd. If you're wondering why I was saying I wanted to get this one over with. Well, because I do think this line will move eventually. But let's jump into the schedule. Because week 1, the Mississippi State Bulldogs are coming to Hattiesburg. Whoa. This isn't in Starkville? In a series that goes back to 1935. Wow. Okay, Jeff Lebby. Call me crazy. I think this is a game. I actually think Southern Miss, I mean, the way Mississippi State looked last year. Now, I know quarterback got injured. Shapen got injured. But based on what we saw, now I expect them to take a step forward. Year 2, if any coach is normally they're a better football team than year 1. However, this is like basically playing Marshall.
Yep.
And you're telling me this place ain't going to be lit knowing they're playing an SEC foe? I'm going there. Upset. Southern Miss wins this thing outright. 1-0. What are you doing here?
So I was actually looking at Huff's tenure when Virginia Tech went to Huntington and they beat them. They almost won at NC State. They won at Notre Dame. We already talked about. God, I hate that it's game 1. That's the only thing I don't.
But it's his whole team.
But it's a new coordinator with Blake Anderson. I'll go Mississippi State just to be different. But I'm with you. I think they're gonna have to earn this thing, and Lebby better not drop this one to start year 2. Because
I can't wait to watch this game.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch this game.
This is an ESPN game, by the way. This is not a throw it on the SEC network. This is
noon kick too.
Yeah,
I mean, you wish it was a night game. I think Southern Miss fans were like, "Damn, let that liquor get in us a little bit." But don't worry, they'll show up well. It's fucking Mississippi. I'm on board.
I'm taking the points, though, for sure.
Yeah, week 2 also Jackson State, and TC Taylor's done a good job with Jackson State, in my opinion. I love this game on the schedule. It's a damn shame that their first matchup was 87, being that they're in state. But I mean, they're right in their wrongs, and I like this game on the schedule. I love, college football is supposed to be regional, and this game's awesome on the schedule. I will take Southern Miss as much as I think Jackson State is they're a darling here. I'm rooting for them in a way. Southern Miss fans are going to be pissed at me for saying that, but I like Jackson State. It's Walter. I grew up a huge Walter Payton fan, so right from there. 2-0 for me. What are you doing here?
I got him bouncing back here, 1-1. Too much continuity and athleticism for Jackson State.
Then week 3, App State, and I gotta just highlight
first year head coach
in the 3rd week of the season. Dude, I think Southern Miss is going to win this. I know I sound fucking crazy. The series goes back to 1937. I think this is the best time to play App State.
Yeah.
Like, App State's been a great school over the years in the Sun Belt and even in the FCS. But they're breaking in a new head coach. A lot of turnover on that staff. I think the fact that this is majority Marshall last year, this roster is a lot of Marshall players running the same fucking defense. If this was in Boone, I would take App, but it's in Hattiesburg at the other Rock, right? This is the battle, by the way, the Rock battle. If you go to Boone, I've been to Kid Brewer, one of my favorite stadiums in all of college football, but they call it the Rock. And Southern Miss fans don't take that too fucking kind because they've been called the Rock, I think, longer if you talk to a Southern Miss fan. Dude, 3-0. Let's go. What are you doing here?
I got to win, and it's a Saturday night game, 7:00, so they'll be liquored up for this one. Marshall beat. I know it's a new regime, but I mean, to your point, this is Marshall, so they beat App pretty good last year. So yeah, I'll go Southern Miss here. They're farther along than App State's first-year head coach.
Yes, then comes week 4. Now they hit the road for the first time, of the season, week 4, to head to Ruston, Louisiana, take on Sonny Cumbie and La Tech out of the CUSA. This is a series that goes back to 1935 as well. If you've listened to our Sunbelt preview, our CUSA coaching preview or coaching ranks episode, I'm not very bullish on Sonny Cumbie and La Tech. I think Southern Miss will have no problem going in there and handling business. It is a little bit of a sleepy game, though. That's my only concern. I mean, La Tech almost caught NC State last year, but I just don't really buy in. I think he's going to get fired this year. So I will take Southern Miss to be 4-0. I know you're saying, Dundee, this team was in last place. Relax. I think it's a great schedule. I think it's a great fucking schedule, man. What are you doing here?
It is, and a lot of Tech's kind of foo-foo. They're soft. I think Southern Miss can outbang them in the trenches too. And I mean they got back-to-back Conference USA here. They got Jack State on Tech.
Yeah, and another new head coach, Charles Kelly. Where do you want to get your new head coaches? The first half of the season. This is a series that goes back to 1937. Love the regionality of this schedule. Love the regionality of this battle in particular. And I think Southern Miss will fuck up Jackson State here in Hattiesburg. So I got them 5-0. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'll say this. That Mississippi State game is huge because if they can find a way to win that thing, it breaks nice for them right after that. What do you got them doing here?
I got them 4-1. So, I mean, I'm optimistic. My only loss was to Mississippi State, and I said it was a close one. So, yeah, 4-1, headed into October. This is where it gets interesting here. These two road games.
Yeah. You got a bye week, which is good to get a bye week. Shout out to Frank Gore Jr. and I believe that's Michael Boley. Then you jump into good bye week. I think this is a Thursday nighter too, if memory serves me correct. Southern Miss at Georgia Southern. Series goes back to 1941, and I'm excited. I'm not a big Clay Helton guy. Marshall should have beat Georgia Southern last year at Georgia Southern. And since the whole roster remembers that game, if you guys didn't catch that game, Marshall blew they were up 3 scores. Pull up that, remind me, if you could pull up that, scoring, what was that? I remember talking shit because I had bet on Marshall. And
23-3 at the end of 3.
Oh my! I can't believe I lost that fucking game, dude. I can't believe I lost that game, dude. But this is the benefit. This is great, though. I think if you're a Southern Miss fan, because last year was Marshall at Georgia Southern in the same vein this is, and when you have all these transfers in from Marshall, I think they're gonna get up and get this game, another win.
Yeah, and Georgia Southern will be coming off JMU. They do have the bye. They both have the bye week with the short Thursday night game. I'm with you. I'm going to take Southern Miss. I'll take the revenge angle here. And they got a road game. I think it helps that they got a road game out of the way going to La Tech in the non-con.
Yeah, and then they do have back-to-back away, and this is where I have them slipping up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me, though. It wouldn't shock me if they got this because Louisiana was obviously playing in the championship game. They get a chance to take down Charles Huff, who took them down in the championship game. Series goes back to 1923, over 100 years old they've been playing. This is my upset. Back-to-back away is a tough thing. What's the Cajun Field will be rocking. The original Swamp, by the way. Yeah. Give me my first loss of the season. What are you doing here?
Same. I got them dropping this one. They're going to drop one of these 2 road games. It's going to be tough to get even just one, but I think they'll get that Georgia Southern game. But Louisiana gets their revenge here. So 2 losses were 6-2, or
I got them with 1 loss, and dude, I don't think Louisiana is that good. So it's like
they're tough
this
at
is
home,
strictly just the back-to-back away, and it's a good home crowd.
Yeah.
But I could it's a great schedule, man. Next up, they get ULM. Watch out. Brian Vincent did a great job in year 1. Series goes back to 1982. As much as I like Brian Vincent and what he's doing, I don't think they're not there yet to beat Southern Miss at the Rock, especially if they start out this hot where this place will be lit. Give me Southern Miss, another win.
Yeah, we had Vincent in our top 5. I mean, we already gave him his flowers, but he doesn't have the Jimmies and Joes, I think, to beat Southern Miss. Yeah, I got another win as well.
Then another bye week, kind of close together bye weeks, which I don't know. Some people like that. I don't really personally, but as you're seeing there, what was the corner? His son played for Bama. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. And then you're seeing Brett Favre. Patrick Surtain is who I'm thinking of. Southern Miss heads to Arkansas State to take on Butch Jones and company. Series goes back to 1960 here. It's a tricky game, but I like having the bye week. I'll say this. Keep this one on. I'm going to give it to him right now. It's a tricky game, though. But I think the bye week really helps.
Yeah, I went back and forth. Arkansas State does not have a bye, so rest advantage Southern Miss late in the year. Give me Huff and company. We saw them finish strong last year, so they got the pedigree of winning in November already with this core. So yeah, I'll take Southern Miss here to get another win.
Then they're home to Texas State. Now this is
a hell of a game.
This is, and I think this could be for the Sun Belt Championship. Obviously Louisiana will be in the mix too, and maybe even Arkansas State. But this is one of the newer rivalries. Only goes back 12 years to 2013. But GJ Kinney doing a really good job with Texas State. All right, I gave them Mississippi State, which is to me like a 50-50.
You haven't set up iMessage yet.
Give me Texas State to pull the upset here at the Rock. What are you doing here?
God, this is a back-to-back road spot for Texas State. Texas State's got to go to Louisiana the week before. So,
dude, it's a great schedule for Southern Miss.
I kind of like Southern Miss here. Like I said, they went through the gauntlet already last year, and they were ascending at the end of the year. So yeah, give me Southern Miss again. Let's go. I only have 2 losses as well.
I mean, me too right now. And then they hit the road to Mobile, but to take on South Alabama, and this series goes back to 2020. But South Alabama, I was impressed last season with Major Applewhite, but Gio Lopez is gone, and I believe Fluff Bothwell left as well.
Yeah.
Those guys, the Lopez loss is huge, man. He was so good in that offense. I gotta take Southern Miss based on those losses. I think Southern Miss is a better football team right now. What are you doing here?
I feel like I have to give them 1 loss. Give me, if I got them winning that Texas State game, give me a letdown spot in Mobile. Tough road spot at the end of the year, or last road game.
Yeah, and then you get the rivalry game. Series goes back to 1935. Troy going into Southern Miss. I guess this is a little bit more of a rivalry than South Alabama. I don't think it's their main rival, but I think this is a win. I was not impressed with Troy last year. They need to show me a lot to think they're just going to go into Hattiesburg and beat Marshall Miss. Win. I got this team at like 10-2, dude, and call me fucking crazy. If they beat Mississippi State,
they could playoff.
I just don't see that many challenging. Like, I love their buys. Their buys are right. And we'll talk about it in a second. But you got to win in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Parker fan at Troy, and they have the better coach. They have the experience, and I'm with you. Like, the fact that they missed JMU is nice. And then getting Texas State at home, I mean, they did get a nice schedule here. I mean, the at Louisiana game's going to be tough, but I mean, other than that, it's a nice schedule.
It is. And I like the fact they lost, blowing a 20-point fourth quarter lead at Georgia Southern. Now, I know it wasn't Southern Miss, but it was Marshall, and this team is all Marshall.
Yeah.
I think that helps them. The win total, I'm just dumbfounded by this. And this is why I want to do it on June 3rd, because we have to hammer the fuck out of this. Not only am I taking the over 4.5 wins, I'm taking the plus 1,800 to win the Sun Belt. Those odds are ridiculous. I texted NC Nick yesterday saying we got to get in there and bet the fuck out of this Southern Miss to win the Sun Belt. I love their path, dude. And I think their team is better on paper than almost the Sun Belt is reloading as a conference, in my opinion. Like, you have new coaching stops at, App State. You have a lot of at App State, and then you have a lot of second-year coaches at South Alabama, Troy, JMU. I'm forgetting some, ULM. So to me, I think Texas State scares me a little bit. Yeah. But I think Southern Miss is in a really good spot. I can't believe this fucking number. So get in on this action before it's too late. This shit's going to rise. In August, this will be 6.5. Gotta be 6 or something.
I'm like, is this like a trap or something? Like, what are we missing? I mean,
this is like Indiana last year. I got laughed at for saying Indiana can make the playoffs with their schedule. Now, to be fair, I said Rutgers had a nice schedule that could get them to the playoffs too. But I said Indiana and Rutgers could get to the fucking playoffs. This is, I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs, but to win the Sun Belt, I like it, dude. I like it a lot too, man. The fact Texas State's got to go to Hattiesburg.
Yeah. And App's got to go there too. I mean, I know
getting App, to me, getting those early coaches like Charles Kelly and App's Dow Loggins early is huge. It's huge. This is my first, like, you will hear me say this on the Locks episode in August, but don't get mad when that number's fucking change. You look at the schedule again, man. I know I'm being like, people are going to say, dude, this was the worst team in the Sun Belt a year ago. I don't care. You're basically playing Marshall. You're basically playing Marshall. I look at the schedule, the away games, by the way, in gray. I think, and Philly J saying plus 3,000 on BetMGM. Get on over there. Shout out to Philly J. Appreciate you, man. And Charles Walker, my guy. How you doing, man? Dude, it honestly, if they get past Mississippi State, there is a path to go undefeated.
Yeah, no doubt. I was just thinking, what's the worst case?
They're definitely, worst case is like
6.
What would 6 losses? Okay, they lose to Mississippi State. Let's say App's ahead of schedule gets them.
La Tech.
No, I don't think they're capable.
Well, it's on the road.
Sucks.
Yeah. I'm just talking like maybe a tricky road spot. I
just feel like Charles Kelly's teams are. Charles Huff's teams are fucking physical, man.
Yeah.
And little like La Tech with their cha-cha offense, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. They almost beat NC State, so I guess maybe. And this is probably his best team he's ever had, Cumbie. And then what? Georgia Southern would be. That's if we're saying worst case scenario 4, and then what?
Louisiana
5, and then Texas State 6.
Yeah, but you're asking for a lot for them to lose all those games.
You're still hitting the over by a game and a half, dude.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm trying to paint the picture how they get to
Here's how.
Braxton goes down.
Yes, that's the only thing I can think of is quarterback depth. Bringing in those other guys, I don't know how good they are, but I'll tell you this: Blake Anderson is a very good offensive coordinator. And a couple of years ago, Utah State went down to their third stringer, and that's when I think Cooper Lagasse came in.
Yeah, and
he did a really good job with them. They still went to a bowl. This is like, to me, this is the best one. I know we're only 3 teams in, but this is free money in my opinion.
You're doubling
free
the
fucking money.
4.
Dude, and the fans have always been there. Like they're waiting for a winner. You let them, even if they lose the Mississippi State game, you let them start off 4-1. Like I really believe they will be. I think they'll be favored against all those teams. I'd be shocked. Maybe the app would be favored based off the name brand. You start 4-1, that place is going to be rocking again. That was a tough home environment back in the day, and all they need is just a little bit of winning. I'm all over this. Philly J plus 3,000 on BetMGM. Get on over there.
And to make you feel even better, Huff's worst year at Marshall, he was 6-7. I mean, he
That's
made a
what I'm saying.
He's
lost the bowl game. Lost the bowl game.
Yeah,
in fucking the Bahamas or something.
Frisco Bowl. Yeah, he's never come close to the 4-win mark. Yeah, this is a lock. And I'll sprinkle the 18-1 just because if
3,000 to 1 on BetMGM.
Yeah. Sorry. So 3,000 to 1. And since I have him losing the Mississippi State game, that doesn't even matter for the conference. So if they could go in with only one loss and find a way to host rather than have to go to a JMU or wherever, that would be huge into getting that plus 3,000 if they're at home in that final game.
It's really unbelievable to me. They're off. I don't understand how they're coming to that number with this schedule too. Like if you would tell me it was at Boone and at App State or at Texas State or at JMU and at Mississippi State, but this is nice, man. This is a fucking really nice schedule. I'm all over this thing, and yeah. Whoa. Jesus. I'm all over it so much that fucking heavy metal's playing. But that's the way I feel about this fucking lock. That's the way I feel about this fucking lock right there. Smash, break, fucking bang your fucking head through a wall. All right? Bang your fucking head through a wall, because don't worry, you'll be able to pay for the doctor's bill. All right? You'll be able to pay for the doctor's bill with this cash we're going to make you. And shout out to Evan. That Southern Miss 14-point dogs. What the fuck is that? This is the SEC getting that love, man. Georgia State beat Vandy last year. Southern Miss is going to beat Mississippi State. 14 points, ridiculous. Toledo, I know Toledo's better than Southern Miss, like the name. But if you replace Southern Miss with Marshall, which is essentially what's happening, I don't believe it would be a 14-point spread. I do not. Believe that.
What's the last time an SEC team went to a Sun Belt team and played them on the road? I'm trying to think.
Vanderbilt last year played at Georgia State and they lost.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
They lost that game, and there was like 6 people there. I watched that whole fucking game.
Coastal hosted somebody one year.
Virginia got them last year. Virginia went to Coastal, but Tim Beck's done a terrible job with that program. But smash play, jump it, let's go. Shout out to the chat, folks. We'll be back in about 30 to 40 minutes with the Indiana preview. We're talking. It's only fitting that Southern Miss and Indiana are on the same night, because I consider Southern Miss kind of this year's Indiana to a certain extent, with hammering that win total and hammering that over. And look, if they did go undefeated, which I know that sounds fucking ridiculous, it's a nice schedule. They would be in the playoffs, I would assume, with an SEC win and an undefeated schedule. You would think, unless another team goes undefeated. I'm on top. I'm all over it. Let's go. Lock this thing up. Folks, make sure you give Moneyline Mac a follow on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. Check out the college basketball experience and the college baseball experience. I know the Southern Miss took a tough L last night. Don't worry. We'll be back. All right. Fly, Eagles. Fly. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And don't forget, youtube.com/the college experience, the hub for come watch all 136 episodes. We also have the FCS college football experience there, the college basketball experience there, and the college baseball experience. All of it on one spot there. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Well, I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Till next time. This is the college football experience, Southern Miss Golden Eagle style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
celly's off, so I can't be found. I'm on a worldwide tour, touring every fucking curtain down. They say the Lord watches over my sins. Over my head, watching hair as it thins. Over the ledge, it ain't letting me in. There's still regiments and relevance to letting me win. Win, win, lose or draw. You ain't prepared unless you all ready to lose it all. Losing a brawl? Yeah, that's a brighter day. Good friends know my Nina Hideaway. They came and went, but the riders stay. So it's like I won the lottery and can't be found. Until I resurface with the latest purchase. 33 and a third and 45 circles. You ain't got that shit. And I ain't 45 king. But on the beats, I've been doing my thing. I start the program and the doorbell ring. I gotta leave town to a place I can't be found. My celly's off, so I can't be found. I'm on a worldwide tour, touring every fucking curtain down. American dreams, lessons, and still they work. I guess the sand on the beach still was really dirt. Now I'm going home, flying over Rome at 30,000 feet. Like, damn, is that really Earth? I see the killers work on walls, familiar turf. Got a little school in graph, 101 was first. Got a little school in math, didn't really work.